One day, I woke up in my bed and I thought, wow, forget about drugs, alcohol, food, sex, or rock and roll. My biggest addiction is, guess what? Yep, my thinking. I'm sure you all know what I'm talking about. Those thoughts that tell us we're not good enough, thoughts that have been haunting us for years. I call this my stinking thinking. I'm one of those kids who was fostered at 6 weeks and placed in several foster homes. Age 4, I was placed into an orphanage. Aged 11, I was sent to live with my biological mother. I was taken away by the police 18 months later. Living on the streets age 15, picked up for shoplifting 6 months later, and placed in a children's prison for 18 months. If you had spoken to some of the adults in my life then and said, that kid there one day will be the author of several books and plays, work as a bully doctor, be awarded an honorary doctorate for her lifetime achievements, they would have laughed in your face. They would have said, absolutely no way. Valerie Mason-John, that kid will end up in the gutter. And you know what? I believe them. You may be wondering, how did I get to be standing here today when once I was so far away from this place? I was fed up of being a victim, tired of surviving, ready to begin living. I stopped believing those pernicious stories and I put the weight of those narratives down. You know the ones, the negative, judgmental things that adults told us when we were children, and now we claim them as our own. We cannot control another person's actions, but we can control our own. We're powerless over the thoughts that enter our heads, but we are responsible for what we do with them. Your stinking thinking will get in the way of your happiness. Whenever we bully ourselves, we will bully everybody around us, projecting all the things we don't like about ourselves onto others. I had to learn to love myself by paying attention to my stinking thinking. I had to learn to give myself affection by looking in the mirror with warm, kind, loving eyes. I had to find things to appreciate myself for, but the hardest thing, though, was learning to accept myself, letting go of my self-hatred that was stuck in the past and in the future, and seeing clearly that self-love and acceptance was in this present moment now. I stopped waiting for people in my life to give me that attention, affection, appreciation, and acceptance that I hungered for, because my stinking thinking would make sure it was never enough. I would literally stop and take a deep breath. The breath was the handbrake on my stinking thinking. It gave me the pause to see that my thoughts are not facts, that my thinking is based on stories of judgments and anger and resentments. When I stopped listening to this negative chatter in my head, I thought my life was going to become boring because a part of me enjoyed my stinking thinking. But instead, I discovered a new happiness and freedom. Loving kindness saved my life. Loving kindness can save yours. It's a sad fact that many of us will be bullied or bully ourselves or even be a bully. But it's a myth to say that bullying is innate and there's nothing you can do about it. Bullying is a learned behavior, and behavior can be changed. Renounce your stinking thinking now. We are what we think.